Red and orange flags absolutely everywhere going into Game Week 7. Here is what I'm doing with my team. Starting off then, here is what my team looks like currently without making any transfers. I've got 2 to use and 0.4 million in the bank. Onana in goal, Estupinian, Udogie, Botman, Maddison, Mbeumo, Saka, Bruno Fernandes, Rashford, Watkins, Haaland, Turner, Gusto, Chilwell and Archer on the bench. As you can see, I've got 5 players that are currently flagged. Gusto definitely won't play, he is suspended. I think Chilwell's probably injured, for at least for Game Week 7, maybe a little bit onwards, and to be honest, I'm not too happy with him as an option anyway. Botman and Maddison, I think they're both likely to play in Game Week 7. Saka is the one, though, that I'm a little bit worried about. I'm not sure what's happening with him, and I'm recording this before the Arsenal press conference, but I'm already preempting that Arteta isn't going to give too much away. If Saka's fit, then we can forget all about it. Just leave him in the team for Bournemouth. However, if Arteta flags a bit of doubt around him or doesn't say anything, he's definitely a bit of a worry. So the first thing I can do with my team is simply play my free hit. I've got 5 players that are injured, and there are 2 teams, of course, with a double game week being Luton and Burnley. Luton and Burnley, you're not going to want to hold their assets long term. Luton in particular, they've got Everton and Burnley as their 2 fixtures. Pretty favourable fixtures, right? So 1 week you can own Luton assets and never have to worry about them again. This is probably the week to do it. And of course, playing your free hit allows you to do that. So Kaminsky in goal. I'm not sure how many clean sheets Luton are going to get, but he does average over 3 saves per game, which makes him the top goalkeeper for expected points in Game Week 7. Trippier and Schär in defence. Just because Botman is an injury doubt, you might as well go for Schär if you're on your free hit, in my opinion. Bell is the other defender. I just think 4 million could potentially keep a clean sheet and get 2 points in the other game. That's not too bad. Salah, Son, Bowen, Bruno and Gordon. It's a unique opportunity really to get the likes of Bowen and Gordon in. They've got one really strong game week amongst some other potentially tougher fixtures, and they're not assets that you'd probably pick over other midfielders in the game. So if you're on your free hit for Game Week 7, obviously it makes sense to go for them. Be a little bit different, but still maximise your points potential. Morris and Haaland up front. Turner, and if you don't fancy Bell in defence, you can of course go for Kurt Zouma. Sheffield United are literally the worst team in the league for defending set pieces. They've got by far and away the highest expected goals conceded. He's an absolute beast in the air, and West Ham have got James Ward-Prowse whipping in the free kick. So Zouma, I think, is a perfectly good alternative if you don't fancy starting Bell. Bayer, just basically 4 million, starts for Burnley, and they've got 2 fixtures. And of course, Archer, best 4.5 million striker in the game because he plays every week, so you might as well go for him on your bench. So this team, 79.2 expected points according to Drafthound. I think you'll have a pretty good game week if you pick this team. If I were to wildcard though, I think this is where I'd be going. Areola, Estupinian, Botman, Kabore, Diaby, Salah, Saka, and Mbeumo, Maddison, Haaland, and Morris. And you can see on my bench, Martinez and Cash come in from Villa. From Game Week 8 onwards, Villa have a fantastic fixture run, so it makes sense to pick their players preemptively ready for that great run. Archer and Udogie on the bench. Archer can come in whenever you might need him at 4.5, but Udogie has got Luton in Game Week 8, so that's a fixture you'd probably want to start him for. He can come in for Kabore, Cash can come in for Estupinian, and then you've got a really nice looking team for Game Week 8. So Saka's the only one to worry about a little bit, but I mean, there's 2 million in the bank with this team, right? So you could perceivably change Morris if you don't fancy him for someone like Alvarez, and then Saka could go for, or even Son, or someone like Bruno Fernandes, who also has some good fixtures. If you didn't know before, you know now, I am notoriously stingy with my chips. And I also think if you're playing your wildcard in Game Week 7, you have to pick the team with Game Week 8 onwards in mind. The Villa fixture swing from Game Week 8 is so good that you basically have to triple up on Aston Villa. And with Brighton in Game Week 7, I don't think you create the optimal team for Game Week 7 by tripling up on Aston Villa. So, to be honest, I actually prefer the free hit to the wildcard if I was to play a chip. However, I think I can crawl through Game Week 7 with the team I've currently got and the 2 free transfers that I can use. So, you saw on the start, I've got Estupinian and Chilwell. Estupinian has not kept a clean sheet this season. Brighton have looked good going forward, and obviously he's been getting amongst the goals and the assists. However, as I said, Brighton are not looking amazing defensively, so I don't have any major qualms about selling him. And his next 2 fixtures, he's got Liverpool and Man City. Chilwell, of course, looks to be injured, came off in the Cup with an injury against Brighton. I've gone for Trippier and Kabore in. I think Trippier is probably the best defender in the game for upcoming game weeks, obviously off the back of his 3 assists against Sheffield United. And he's got Burnley as his next fixture. So that to me looks like a clean sheet and definitely an opportunity to get some attacking returns. In Kabore, I think you might as well just go for him. You know, he plays for Luton. They've got a double game week. My other option is starting Udogie, who's got Liverpool. I think he's going to concede and probably won't get an attacking return, whereas Kabore could get an attacking return over the couple of fixtures, could get a clean sheet. I don't think he's going to score lower than 2 points, which I would suggest is around what Udogie will score. So I think 2 free transfers, that's probably the 2 best transfers I can make. I'm obviously kind of relying on Saka starting. I've got a kind of belief that he will, to be honest. Regardless of what Arteta says in his press conference, I don't think he's going to give away too much about the best player in his squad. If he was fit, I think he'd be coy about it. And if he wasn't fit, I think he'd be equally coy. So I don't think we're going to get any news about him. I'm going to trust that Saka will play. And if he doesn't, I've got Archer on my bench. He's got West Ham. I think Sheffield United are going to come out a little bit stronger than they were against Newcastle United. I don't think there's any way you get beaten 8-0 and the next fixture out, you don't come out trying to win, you know, with a bit of extra motivation to win the next game. And Archer, I think, will be central to everything Sheffield United do going forward. So I'm not too upset if I have to go with Archer from my bench. I also think he'll probably take the penalties for Sheffield United as well, should they get one. This is how I'm thinking I'm going with my team at the moment. Let me know in the comments if you have any other suggestions. All right, and that's the end of the video. I hope you can understand that I've been persisting this week with a bit of a cold going on. So yeah, I've sounded a bit nasally in all my videos, but I've soldiered on. I think it's really important this week that I get out as much content as I can to try and help you guys with your FPL teams. If you appreciate it and enjoy it, I'd really appreciate myself if you could leave a like rating on the video. Let me know in the comments what you think of my decisions with my team. You know, I'm always interested in hearing different people's opinions. And yeah, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the Golden Goal channel, which should be just there. And I'll catch you in the next one.